there's a paper that was done in Australia around mental toughness, and it essentially outlined 8 weeks of mental skills training, but the table was brilliantly presented. And it's a go-to paper for a lot of people in mental toughness, because they outlined this 8-week strategy of how they implemented all of what they were talking about. And I kind of look at it and go, it's like giving someone a physical training program and saying, here's what's good for you. Here's sort of what you need to do. But they're not giving you on Monday we do this, Tuesday you do that, Wednesday, and not giving them that and just going, all the best. And that for me, I think is just been something I've seen in the literature, that it's almost what people are hungry for. They're hungry like, okay, great. How do I actually do this? So maybe this is just off the top of my head, is that there are not enough examples for people that are going through the process of education and then going to being a practitioner, that they actually know how to put it into work, because they haven't seen anything or as much as what they would like to. Yeah, that's just a thought off the top of my head, really.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot to be said around just thinking, as you're saying, that is like all of the things that I would do on a daily basis within a team context. If you look through the literature, none of it would be in there.
Yeah.
So, that's a valid point, but I feel the conflicts, particularly for younger people, is like, well, how do I start gaining this experience? Like, I guess it's all right for me. I'm just about 47, been doing this for a long time, and have had so many of experiences. So when something comes up tomorrow, there's chances are that's come up in the last 20 years, and I know what to do.
Yeah.
And someone asked the other day, like, how do you seem to know what to do? I was like, one, I've made a hell of a lot of mistakes. But I've been a good learner from those. But secondly, once your database of experience is built, you just it's just going and grabbing a file. Here's a file from 1999, or here's one from 2008 when we had this situation. And I've always, probably through my upbringing, I've always been told to be solution focused. Like, my mum was always really big on that. And so I think as a practitioner, I have to look straight away, if there's a problem, what's the answer? And I feel like some of these papers are not looking for answers. They're just looking for conclusions.
Mm.
And so if you make a conclusion, it's like being a critic, right? Like, it's easy to be a critic. It's harder to be a prophet. A critic can just point out what's going wrong. A prophet, for use of a better term, has to provide the way out for people. Like, okay, so this is happening. What do we do now? How do we respond to that? And I suppose, watching this work over the last number of years, there's still a lot of people who are really good at pointing out problems, but I don't know how good they are at offering solutions.
Well, that I think my theory around this is that because of that pointing out the problems, and you just touched on it, is that a lot of people in this space are worried about getting it wrong. Yeah. And that's the same in athletes do the same thing, but through the fact that a lot of the research, it can be critique based, that if I put
but that's where you gotta love that curiosity, though, don't you? Like,
totally.
Wayne Smith did an interview this week on TV, just got knighted, and he said over 50% of what I've tried to do hasn't worked.
Great.
And he's so relaxed about it, like, oh well, we gave it a shot, just didn't work, and but the stuff that has worked, I just keep on doing. So, I suppose, like, the fear of failure destroys creativity.
Mm.
And so you don't have innovation and creativity without risk and failure. And so it's just those who are willing to endure some of the pain of failure and getting it wrong and end up becoming the innovators. And the ones that can't tolerate getting it wrong or so fearful of the consequences of getting it wrong, they don't move anything. They just stay in their lane. And so, like, our relationship with failure, not just as athletes, but as people, I reckon determines our growth. Like, will we grow or will we not? I'll tell you this. I'll give you a simple answer. Are you willing to fail, or are you avoiding it at all costs? If you're willing to fail, then you'll grow. You'll be fine if you can learn. But if you're not going to fail, you're not going to grow.
Hey, if you've enjoyed that video, then you can click right here to watch the full unedited version of that episode. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel by clicking the button below. I'll see you soon.